I'm going to list out all the things we think of as public speaking mistakes pretty quickly because they are quite self-explanatory. And then we're going to go into just one mistake that, in my opinion, I think is the biggest mistake that we make in public speaking that goes way beyond any of the ones that we're going to list out now. Okay, let's get into the list. Don't turn your back to the audience. Don't pace around aimlessly on stage. Speaking too softly, speaking too quickly, not being prepared, using too much jargon or technical terms, arriving to the venue late, not doing technical checks, not focusing on the opening and closing of your speech, not storytelling, making jokes on controversial topics, not making eye contact with the audience, not getting feedback to improve. Now, we've written an article on this topic where we've elaborated on all these mistakes. In case you need to dive deeper in any of them, the article is linked below. But let's get into the mistake that goes beyond all these things. And that is focusing on the speaker and not on the audience. Now, why is this the biggest mistake? It's because a lot of us tend to judge the success of a speech based on the presentation of it. And presentation, while important, is more of a vanity metric, which means it does not really hold that much substance. When in fact, the main way, the best way to judge the success or failure of a speech or a presentation is how many members of the audience really took back or acted upon what you needed them to do. Let's break that down. Every speech has a call to action, has to have a takeaway, without which it's not really a speech, it's just information being thrown out. And let's say we come up and give a stellar presentation. Body language is impeccable, we have great variation with our voice, we have fantastic stories over there as well. But if the audience does not act upon the final takeaway that we have for them, how do any of the presentation aspects even matter? Do we want the audience to buy something at the end of our speech? Do we want them to think of a certain way, or do we want them to adopt an idea? As long as they're doing that, even if our speech presentation is not the best, that's okay, because we have tailored our speech keeping the audience in mind. What can we say or do that will make them act? Not what we can say or do that will make us look good. This does not mean to say that presentation techniques are not required. The better we are at the mistakes that were listed out in the beginning, the better we'll be able to communicate our points. But again, if we don't keep our audience in mind first, we lose out on the most important aspect of judging a speech. Now, I know that it might be difficult to just keep the audience in mind, especially if you're nervous and it's one of our first times to give a speech. So we've made an entire video on what you can do to look less nervous while giving a speech so that we can use that mental effort and energy on the audience. Highly recommend you check out that video right here.